Well, it's that time again. Hey, it's Kimberlee and welcome back to my channel. I make videos on all things lifestyle on a budget, and it is that time. I got that letter in the mail that I have been stressing about for 2 months because I couldn't remember when it came. So just imagine like walking on eggshells every day, kind of feeling a little stressed. I got that rent increase letter. It wasn't an invitation, it was a notice. It said, this is what your rent will be increasing to. You got questions, reach out. It wasn't, hey, this is what we're working with. What are you working with? Let's negotiate. But if you know from my video last year, you know I do not go down without a fight. So let's get into it and let's talk about it. A lot of you watched my rearranging my apartment video. You had some amazing suggestions. It gave me so many great things to think about, so keep on with the suggestions. I freaking love it, and if it works for me, I will do it. As you can see, the couch did remain over there. Like I said, fitness, I need that space. But I really loved how many of you guys were like, don't put the couch there. It doesn't belong there. It doesn't make sense. I see you and I hear you. It makes sense for me. Okay, I'm coming on here crusty because look what came. My notebook. I had this idea kind of buzzing in my brain for a while now, and I wanted to design some notebooks that offer a little bit of inspiration for anyone and everyone to just fill it with their heart's desire. If you're working towards a goal, if you want to reflect, if you are trying to keep track of things. This one says, I trust the moves I make. I just wanted something that would be very centering and just kind of continuing to inspire you to just keep pushing in life or keep going after the thing that you really want. So finally getting into the mail, seeing it in person, I'm just like, it just makes me so happy. I already started writing mine, got my journal stuff ready to go. Really easy and compact to go, but it has a ton of pages, which is great. If you are looking for invitation to creativity or to getting organized, definitely hit up the link down below if you're interested in seeing all the designs I have so far. And stay tuned because there's definitely some more coming, and I've been writing about it in here. As you can see, it's chilly. I know I look crazy right now. If anyone's been with me for a while, you know I had the comfy. This was that big hooded thing. And yes, after 2 years, this baby is still with me. And when it's really chilly, like it is today, I just pop this on. Basically, I have my window open so we can circulate some air, but then I've got, the comfy keeping me nice and toasty. Anyway, let's talk about this increase. So this year, when I got my little letter, I was freaking nervous because as you saw this past August, like people's rents were out of control. The landlords are catching up with everyone and they're like, you guys, we are basically pushing you out. I don't know how else to say it. They're like, we want our monies, we want as much as we can get. And unfortunately, I don't see the end in the cycle because there's still people coming in that still have money and are taking up the spaces. So until you have a bunch of vacancies, I don't see how the change happens, which is frustrating. I think it's the worst thing in the world. Because last year, if you remember from my last video, if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. I did get a huge reality check, and then I also did speak up and negotiate and was able to find a middle ground. So this year, like I said, the letter wasn't an invitation, and my rent is going to be going up 15%. If you know nothing about increases and all that kind of stuff, what happens is if your rent increase is over 5%, your building has to notify you, being notified for something that's happening in December, because that's when my lease is up. So I did look up their law because they have it listed like under the act of so-and-so that they can do 90 days, and they did in fact do that. To be honest, and I know this sounds crazy, follow me on the journey, I thought it was gonna be more, and so when I saw the 15% increase, I was like, okay, it's not impossible. It's not good, but it's not the end of the world and totally impossible. Like I really thought that they were gonna shoot for the stars like they did last year, because based on how I came in, it was actually a 50% increase, and I negotiated down to a 30% increase. The reason why it looks like it was such a giant jump was because I had a special rent deal and I was paying that the whole year. And so from that to what they were raising it was much, much higher, but that's because the number in the middle was actually what I should have been paying the whole way through. And what ended up happening with my negotiations, which I'm very much grateful for, is that I negotiated them down to what I should have been paying the whole way through. So that's what I've been paying for the last year. And this time around, they're like, come on, we're trying to get you a little bit higher. And so they did a 15% increase. Got online and I reached out to them to ask for something a little bit lower, between 7 and 10%. is what I was kind of asking for. Obviously, I want well lower than that. I would love a 5% increase, but I don't know what the playing field is. So I'm just gonna throw out a little something and see if they can get back to me on that. Unfortunately, I don't have an update for that because they haven't responded yet, but I hope that they do. How do I feel about it? How do I feel? How do I feel? How do I feel? Like I said, the initial blow wasn't as big as I thought. Maybe my head's in the clouds, and I somehow, because it wasn't that high of a number that I thought it was gonna be, I somehow think this is better. But no, it is still higher than what I'm already paying now. And I'm definitely like, you know, I'm heading to that line of like, oof, what can we do? Can I afford that? Like, I can squeeze. But looking around everywhere else, at least at the time when I received that notice, it was a deal. Like, nothing else in the area of what I want and where I want to live is anywhere near what I'm paying, which is wild. I just have to think about that. I'm still good with this. Like, I'm still good with this layout. I really love it. Like I always tell you guys, you got to figure out your non-negotiables. I've realized from living here that location and convenience is my top. Honestly, it's not about what's inside, it's location and convenience. And that has been like through the roof for this place and where I've been the last 2 years. Like, no competition, like boom, love it. Everything else, like, oh, maybe valuing more space, maybe valuing like, you know, laundry in your apartment, all those things are things I would love. But at the sacrifice for what's in the industry right now, no. I've been looking on Trulia, I've been looking on Street Easy just to keep an eye out, and it's really few and far between, or it's just really, really far. Especially for my work, it's just going to be more money if I have to travel from further, get up even earlier. I mean, if you saw my recent video, like I'm waking up like 5 in the morning sometimes for work. That would be like 3 in the morning. And if my goal was really focused on, I need to have this maximized space, you know, I need to have a 1-bedroom, I need to have like laundry in unit, sure, I could do that, but it's like, what happens when I step outside? What's that neighborhood, what's that area like? And if there's nothing around, like, that doesn't do for me. I like to be around places that I can go, I can travel around by foot easily, like that's really important to me. Getting home at night, getting home super late, like how safe is the area, all of those things matter to me so much more than what's happening like in the apartment. And like I said, this is fine for me. If they don't budge, my plan of action is to do what I've been doing this entire year, which is cutting corners and budgeting to the max. I mean, it helps immensely that I paid off my debt. Doing that, that was the right place, right time. That is, boom, set to the side. My bill each month for my credit card is like $100-something versus $200, $300, $500, up to $1,000 that I was trying to pay down. Not having that alleviated so much. That allows for that extra money to now be used potentially towards my rent. I'm also aware that if I did have an apartment that was way lower financially, it would send me to new heights. I'm aware of the sacrifices I'm making for the life that I want to lead, and that's something that you have to ask yourself or figure out. If the rent totally wasn't there for you, then boom, it's not there. Like, don't try to make it work if you really can't, but if you can look at your whole budget, can look at all your expenses, you might be able to figure out what could work for you. And that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. That is my rent update. That is me thinking long and hard the next couple of months about what I want to do. But also simple things is like packing all my stuff up and moving might even just cost more than just staying where I'm at. And that's something that a lot of people I think are dealing with as well, where it's like, it's gonna cost me more to have to move than it would cost me to just stay here and like buckle down with budgets. Things that are gonna extend my commute, it's just not worth it because I used to do that for years. Like, I commuted from outside the city for years, 40-minute travel. Like, I don't want to redo that to live in the city because, again, I could just live outside of the city and then I would want something bigger. If I'm doing that big of a commute, that place better be banging. That better be like your own house or something, like if I'm doing all that. And I definitely don't think I can afford a house right now, so we're not even gonna go down that route. Let me know if you guys are having any rent increase issues or whatever. Let me know if you guys have been negotiating. Was anyone ever unsuccessful with negotiation? I just trailed off in that video and didn't do my closing, so thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.